Maybe you want to speak more to that. Why did you go for a placeholder?
It's not an abnormal thing, it's a normal thing. I can tell you that over 65% of Nigeria's registered political parties, as we speak today, settled for placeholders. The whole idea is that you have a time frame within which you are
Are they waiting for the highest bidder?
Not really the highest bidder, but they are waiting for candidates that
money politics all over.
Well, that is...
how does it affect your party?
It could be a factor. It could be a factor. But the essence of having a placeholder is to see if you could bring in people that would be more easily marketable than the ones you have placed there as placeholder. And then this is done because there's a time frame within which you are expected to upload these candidates. You recall that myself and the NWC that I lead was recognized by INEC just about a week or thereabout into the period allocated for uploading of presidential candidates and National Assembly members. But within that short period, we were able to do what nobody ever thought.
So the period that INEC listed, that primaries must be conducted and names uploaded, is too tight for political parties. Is that your conclusion?
No, that's not what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say that the time INEC shifted recognition to the Dr. Anebunan-led side, where I am the NWC leader, the national chairman, was short. Other parties had already commenced the process of uploading candidates before eventually we were recognized. And so we had a shorter time. Yes, we did request that we should have a short extension, which INEC initially turned down. But at the end of the day, they gave a 3 days extension. And I was made to understand that we were reason for that. You know,
so would you say that you didn't quite come up with your best? You could have done better than what you have.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. Any party that is smarting up from crisis, you don't expect that within that short period would have done the magic of throwing up candidates that you can adjudge as the best. No. And that is the reason why we decided for some specific offices, we decided to settle for placeholders with the aim that by the time the window for substitution opens, we'll be able to have more candidates that are more viable and more strategic that we can use.
Now that you have lost your sitting governor in Kano, what are your chances for the governorship candidate in Kano in 2027 election?
I don't want to reduce my party to Kano. The question would have been, are you...
But that's where you have a sitting governor. You don't have any, you didn't have anywhere a sitting governor.
Before
you just had one governor.
Before he came, the party had no governor, and he came and he has gone. So the party will now be looking for another state where it will be able to produce a
Not Kano, another state.
That's what I'm telling you. Must it be Kano? The answer is no. I just gave you the history of how the Kano state governor came on. He came with the...
But that's where you have your greater strengths in the past.
No, that's from your perspective. That's your understanding of it. I just told you that this party took off from Bauchi. The party, NNPP, is a household name in Bauchi.
The Bauchi people didn't elect your governor. They elected Bala Mohammed. So what are you saying?
Except you want me to continue to speak on one point round and round. I'm telling you, there's no way we would have been able to produce a governor overnight. A party builds gradually to be able to get where it wants to get to. We already had, I think I've told Amechi on air repeatedly that even the Bauchi North said it. I don't like talking about it. So a party that was able to win roundly a Senate seat in a state where it was just experimenting, we were already close to the governorship. And if we had been allowed to consolidate, if the Kwankwaso and Kwankwasia factor did not come in to distract us and take our attention to Kano, the attitudes of NMPP since it was registered in 2002 has always been put all the energy and the scarce resources into a state where you think you can make impact. So if we had been allowed to consolidate in Bauchi, maybe by now would have been able to produce a government.
A lot of parties are queuing up to join or align or endorse other candidates in other parties. Accord Party, for instance, have told their presidential candidates, we don't want you, we are aligning with Bola Tinubu. Even when the primaries have been held and conducted and winner emerged. Now, a lot of people may see NNPP as one of such parties. Sometimes they say they are using it to trade. Sometimes they are using it to get PTNs from especially the ruling party. Before the election, few months, we endorse this candidate. Is it Is NNPP one of those that people see in that light?
First, let me let you understand that in a heavily monetized polity, like my brother has alluded to, the so-called smaller parties, as Nigerians would want to refer to them, are always at a disadvantage because they don't have that financial muscle, to be able to meet up with the challenges that is created by the heavily monetized political system that we're running. And so it is not bizarre when you begin to see parties coming together. Of course, the APC that is in power today is an amalgamation of several other political parties. If they had gone individually into that election in 2015, maybe it wouldn't have worked. But because they had to come together to join forces, join resources, join intellectual whatever, they were able to.
So you may align, NNPP may align.
Well, when we get to that, it is a decision of the political party, as a party, not me as its chairman. If we get there, but what I'm trying to establish here is the fact that no political party is an island. When you look at the advantage you have and the disadvantages you have, if there is need to have some level of understanding with your sister political parties, it's not, it shouldn't
So
surprise
be
anybody.
it. Of course, it's allowed. They say, well, if you can't do it alone, you have to look
Thank
for
you.
alliances.
And that's why
It's
there
a
are
right
mergers too.
You may explore. Have
That's
to
the
thank
beauty
you.
of democracy.
Yeah, we have to thank you so much, Dr. Abu Major, National Chairman of New Nigeria People's Party, for joining us today.
It's my pleasure.
And as usual, we have our feedback segment. We read your mails in our Citizens' Perspective segment.
All right, we have this mail from Emmanuel Nkama from Gowon Estate, Alimosho, Lagos. And he says that armed bandits or terrorists slaughtered 5 siblings, 25 others in Kaduna State, while the federal government is busy granting pardon and eradication to the monsters who are killing and maiming innocent Nigerians, is very unfortunate and an aberration. This is because it's unimaginable how a government that's what it sought can grant amnesty to terrorists who have been killing and beheading helpless citizens with impunity. This wanton bloodletting is one too many, but requires proactive and not reactive actions to nip it in the bud. Here's calling on President Tinubu to stop with immediate effect the policy of granting pardon to people that are supplying information for the ambushing and killing of innocent Nigerians. I think what he means is not to nip it in the bud is already there, but of course to eradicate it, to stop it. Second one is from Ayodele Ukufolami from Festac Town in Lagos. And he says, I don't think there's anything wrong with the current presidential form of democracy. Listening to the Labour man, does it mean the vice president will automatically become president? Are we practicing a one-party system? How do we expect good governance if the sitting president and the vice president are from different political parties? Recommending a non-partisan professional body method into a heavily competitive political space does not make sense. A single-term presidency will only make the leader who has no hope for a second term lazy after he wins the election. The National Assembly is already a platform where every Nigerian is represented. The National Assembly is there to check the excesses of the executive. We don't need another system. We only need to enforce our existing laws and ensure institutions do their jobs. Vote out incompetent leaders.
Okay, I think the mail, that last one, for instance, talked about the fact that we already have institutions, structures in place to check excesses of the executive, legislature, judiciary. You have the National Assembly, a gate man, a security man, so to say, that have flung open his gates and said, everybody, good and bad, can come in. Exactly. We have the civil society, you have the media, you have them. All we need to do is to activate them. That's the conclusion.
Make sure institutions do their work. Like what is happening in the U.S., you can see even the president doesn't get away with some excesses.
Absolutely.
Before he moves, the system goes to work through the courts, and once the institutions are working, I think that with what we have, we can have a decent life as Nigerians.
You see, I agree with both of you. Bill Clinton told us about having stronger institution. But we
not
never,
strong men.
Yes, and we never needed a foreigner to come and tell us, because this.
I think it was Obama.
Okay, was it
Yes.
Obama? Okay, it was Obama, right? And we don't need a foreigner to tell us this, because the First Republic succeeded in terms
Okay.
of governance and infrastructure because the institutions were stronger.
Okay.
You had civil servants telling permanent secretaries and directors that the direction
Absolutely,
was
Mustafa.
room.
Strong institution means those manning various roles in our institution standing up to their responsibility. It doesn't mean you import an institution from overseas. It means you doing the right thing. Thank you so much for joining us today. We come back tomorrow for another edition. On behalf of my colleagues, my name is Amici Anabue. Have a good time.